Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to this mini podcast episode where I wanted to share an insight that was very powerful and that I truly hope it serves you as well in the moments where you just kick this whole journey and you don't want to deal with this anymore, and oh my god, this is just too hard. Why my soul chose this whole jungle place and this whole ascension. You know what I'm talking about. But I hope this conversation helps you raise up to a place where you can see things from a higher perspective. And the way I'm seeing it is really through energetic bandwidths, okay, frequency bandwidths. When we are in a lower state of consciousness, when we're operating from the ego, when we are infected with some sort of wound, or if we feel totally just in a victim state because we have some sort of subconscious programming that is running, saying that we're totally worthless, we're totally not gonna have what we want in this lifetime, we're totally just the devil's talk. Whenever we linger in those feelings and emotions that have been so deeply programmed within us from childhood, from parenting, education, the whole system, not to mention past lives, all these frantic divisive energies within you will work against you. Okay, so to look at this from the perspective of the soul, so the 5D is the soul. Okay, it is your center. It is that moment where I'm personally, when I write, this is when I'm 100% I know I'm totally in alignment with my soul. Birds are singing, fairies are dancing all around me. It's just that, that moment of just total clarity, and I know who I am. And then, you go out into the world, or something triggers you, something in your 3D reality, just, it's totally upside down from what you are, from what you know to be the truth in your soul. And then, that fantasy moment, fairy tale moment just goes, goes down the hill. And this creates, if it comes through, so our personality is created either from a very deeply ingrained wounding or repeated trauma, which is actually one and the same, because when we experience some sort of deep wounding and we don't heal it, which is what we do when we're children, because we literally do not have the capacity, our brains are not yet developed enough to process that heavy trauma. And so what we do, we store that within our emotional body, and from there we magnetize these the same kind of experiences, even though it's not what your soul wants, even though it's not your destiny and it's not your soul desire. But this is reality's way of pinging of saying, hey there's something you left unprocessed, there is something that is turning you into someone you're not, because your personality is a coping mechanism to the trauma that you are not ready to release. Meaning, for a very long time, and I know I shared this in the past, I was a professional victim. And when we are cynical, where we are in a victim state, all these personalities and maybe identities that we are attaching to are simply going to create the same reality over and over again and create the same experiences and the same people. And it is very comfortable to point fingers and say, this is an asshole, and you get a piece of that cake too. You're an asshole. But it is true, yes, the world is filled with assholes. Now, our job is to look at why that particular asshole was in our life. Why did we open the door? That's our job, is not to judge whether someone is an asshole or not, which they can definitely be, but it is our responsibility to look at our own wounding and see, oh, okay, so I attracted a narcissist because I don't take care of my own needs, because my self-worth is very low, or because I don't open my heart enough. So it's comfortable for me to be in this relationship with someone that doesn't care, because, if I open my heart, then all these past wounds from the moments where my heart was broken will surface and it will be painful, right? So, everything, all these waves of thoughts and all these waves of low vibrational imprinting are simply telling us that there are things we haven't processed yet, and there is so much resistance in doing so because we have not been, I want to be as clear as I can. We have not been taught how to self-regulate and how to process emotions and how to connect with our emotional world, period. This is something that needs to be taught inside of the family, in schools as well, to keep, putting the layers and layers and layers and layers of these, to strengthen our regulation muscle. And especially it comes through the mother wounding. When we don't know how to process our emotions, it is mostly because of, abandonment from mothers. And guess what? The Matrix knows this very well. And this is where, the whole wave of independent woman, 3 careers and 10 children, and it has become like a badge of honor, because it creates more and more and more and more starving for attention, starving for love humans, because the mother is not there and they're left with some sort of stranger, or who's probably just checking on their phone, or because of dysfunctional families and all this trauma that we keep recycling, because the mother is not properly there. And this is not a judgment, this is how the world is built today. Unfortunately, we're obviously here to create different patterns. When the child mirrors back the kind of validation that the mother sends, right? So the way a child learns emotions and what they are is through the mirroring that they get from the outside world. So whenever they have this bubbling sensation, they're like, mom, look, or dad, whatever. I have this, I want this, right? If the mother is going to look at them and be like, I'm busy, what do you want? We immediately internalize this as, I'm totally useless. It is just very delicate process in understanding that. And also, if we don't have a proper, we are raised by parents who have not been taught this either, who were just unable to regulate their own emotions, right? So what you would see is just the same example of people who just did not know how to do that. And this is the generation that, we are the bridge generation that learns how to process emotions, how to self-regulate, and how to, instead of storing trauma from the past, we learn how to liberate that from the body. Okay, and it takes a tremendous amount of nurturing to do so. So the way it happens, I'm actually deviating from the topic, but I mean, it came out for a reason. And this is the birth of codependency. When you don't know how to regulate your own emotions, you are attached to a particular person that you see as a tool for you to regulate your emotions. And I'm being harsh on purpose, because codependency needs to go. Codependency is not love. Codependency is two people who don't love themselves in some sort of agreement to not give up on each other because they're afraid of being alone. But they are so miserable and so unhappy. But it is comfortable because they don't have to face their fear of being alone, or their fear of abandonment, or their fear of sitting with themselves and actually doing the work. And, this is where the ascension process knocks at everyone's doors and be like, knock, knock, knock. You can stay in this relationship if you want, but you're never going to be able to ascend and really be your higher self and really live from your soul, aka the fifth dimension. You're going to stay in that particular personality where you are a certain way, where you fulfill this role for that person, and it kind of gives you a false sense of purpose, which again, it prevents you from doing your bigger purpose. But you're so long you stay inside of that comfort zone, which is a false comfort, you are not going to be able to face your fears, go through this process of just rising from the ashes, really going through this hero's journey of I'm going to face all my demons, and rise into real love, pure love from source, and really understanding the difference between universal love and fabricated, recycled love, which is codependency, which is a 3D paradigms and patternings. And a lot of us have had to go through that so that we can understand how it works. Personally, I have gone through a 2 years intense period of, healing all just so much baggage. And I can now see very clearly when I'm operating from some sort of leftover codependent pattern, or when it is that centered connection to source that is just an expression of the love that we have embodied within ourselves, which is what universal love is all about, because you cannot love if you yourself you're void. And that was another topic, but now going back to how do we self-regulate? So self-regulation, first of all, just imagine having some sort of feminine role model. Okay, no longer needing your spouse or something else. Addiction is deeply rooted in the mother abandonment wound, because it kind of gives you that feeling of, just first of all, not facing your emotions, not facing your woundings, but also kind of like a soothing, false soothing, because it's only temporary effect. Right, so anything that replaces that divine connection you have with a particular divine feminine energy, okay, maybe it's a goddess you particularly connect with, maybe it's Mary Magdalene, maybe it's Mother Gaia herself. This is the best example in the world. The best way to self-regulate is really being in nature, connecting with nature, because nature is extremely feminine vibrancy, feminine frequency, feminine energy. And first of all, this is how we need to understand that in order to heal, in order to feel safe enough, keywords, safe enough to allow these things, to allow these emotions to be revealed without this container, this safe container of, just imagine being in the arms of a mother, okay? We cannot heal, because we need that unconditional love from source energy for us to be able to know that at the end of the process of healing, we are safe. Okay, and sometimes you can do this through, healers. You can start, building that muscle within yourself of self-regulation. Sometimes we just need to feel loved, properly loved, or receiving that through another person, to have a taste of that imprinting and how it feels like from a healer, from divine feminine energy. And afterwards it can be pretty addictive. So it's very important to know that I personally don't encourage professional codependency. I'm very careful with the ways in which I work with other people, so that I make sure that the end result is them fully being able to create that own container for themselves, because that's what gets you in the long run. That's how you become whole, and that's how you become truly sovereign, is when you don't rely on other external sources for providing that container for yourself. That is also inner union. Okay, for some reason I'm really feeling like I'm speaking to Divine Masculine Collective, but this is also absolutely addressed to feminines as well. But if you're a masculine listening to this is how you transcend codependency, is building that internal connection with the real source energy, feminine source energy, that is not distorted, that is not karmic, that is not external, first of all. And when you actually do that, the kind of people you will magnetize into your life, my gosh. We have grown used to this idea that, we cannot have our needs no one is perfect. So if I'm not fully fulfilled in a relationship, that's fine. I mean, no, I don't believe in that. I believe that if our soul desires a particular type of relationship, which is mind-blowingly fulfilling and thrilling and adventure, and however it looks for you, if your soul, and we're actually coming back to the topic of today, which is incredible how everything I feel like I did full circle here, so it was meant to. Right. So if your soul tells you that something is quote unquote not enough in a particular relationship, trust that. It's not because you're greedy, it's not because you're you want too much. It's settling. It's settling, is buying more into the programming that you don't deserve your soul's desires. Because if you do so, you are living in that frequency bandwidth where you're not going to be able to access the kind of person that you want. And I'm taking the example of the person, but again, it can be literally anything that is your soul desire. And what happens when you live inside of that frequency bandwidth, the 3D frequency, is you're not going to be whole. You're always going to feel that something is missing. You're always going to settle for situations, people, places that do not reflect your inner state of wholeness. And you're inside of this bubble of feeding up artificial desires to compensate for your lack of wholeness within yourself, which for me, wholeness means I know my soul, I know who I am deep within, and this is what I want in my life. And if it means being single for 10 years, then let it be, but I'm not settling for anything less, because it's just a waste of my time here on earth, period. I know a lot of people may disagree with my approach, and I'm totally okay with that. because obviously every relationship serves a purpose, serves a particular growth purpose, but that's just where I'm at today. It's no longer settling for anything that is not my true soul's purpose, my true divine counterpart, equally matched. Okay, no longer feeling it was one of the biggest, deepest wounds that I was experiencing, is always having to shrink and feeling like I was settling inside of a relationship that was just not able to fulfill my deepest core soul's desires of being with someone that was just my match on a soul level. Okay, because everyone is a match at the level that we are. That's another topic. So when you fully embody your soul's desires and you know what they are, and even though the world outside you tells you, oh, this is, and maybe through past experiences you have learned how to give up because of repeated experiences that were, not successful. But here's the thing, you were still operating from that 3D, from the ego. Now you really got to become your embodied divine self if you want the quote-unquote manifestation of your the fulfillment. I don't like the manifestation word. It's just so mainstream. The fulfillment of your true soul's desires. Okay, and this is what we all came here to do, is really overcome all the small self, the personality, overcome seeing ourselves in this way, in this fragmented way, because these identities are fragments of who we are, that it's truly, trauma creates a split within ourselves. We're no longer in wholeness. Just imagine just having a heart that is broken. I love the 3 of Swords card in some tarot decks because it really shows like this heart that is shattered. This is heartbreak. Heartbreak truly fragments our soul, and then we become these beats of identity that, when we are outside with someone, we're a certain way, and that's safety. We're not authentic because we are afraid of being rejected, and that's the first wound of rejection. We are not ourselves inside of a relationship because we're afraid of abandonment, and so we stay within a particular identity that maybe another person wants because we're so afraid they will leave if we truly reveal our true self. And it is all coming back to the root. It is all coming back to the source of it all, which is healing. And again, the way we do that is through, first of all, keeping in mind the need of having that container where you feel safe. So safety is the first keyword. And then knowing that most of the healing is truly somatic. It's a somatic experience, meaning through the body. And when you set an intention to heal a certain thing, just you'd be shocked just how easily you will magnetize the right kind of people in your life. When your soul is fully ready and done with nonsense, you will immediately magnetize the right teachers, the right healers. I was personally, when my soul was ready to fully embrace my spiritual gifts, I prayed for a shamanic training that I resisted for a couple of years, even though I was so drawn to, I was working with a shaman in Thailand, and I was just like, whenever I was going into a session, I felt like I was just going on this magical land, and I was so impressed by his gift, but I was so afraid of, going into that world. And when my soul was fully ready last year, in 2 days, my current mentor posted her first training for shamans. And this is how you know when you're truly soul ready and when you're surface level ready. Because so many of us say, yeah, but I'm ready for my purpose. I know what it is. If you knew, that's the tip of the iceberg. But if you knew just how much healing it requires for you to really be in your purpose, you wouldn't feel that ready. And this is the difference between our subconscious and, on the outside, we want to get to the end goal, but without, we want to take a shortcut without going through the whole process. And this isn't the talk to, demotivate you or demoralize you. All the contrary. Like, I really want you to know that if you are here listening to this, if you came in this lifetime, it is because you are here to, live in this new way. It's because you came here to heal. And we live in an extraordinary time where we have so many healing tools, when we have so much access to information, when we have so much support as well with this, amazing network of souls that is there to support us. So the more we release the density, first of all, not from our bodies, from our energetical body, by the way, you will also feel much lighter. You will feel so much lighter. It is mind-blowing. But when you release the density from these stored emotions, that's how you raise into 5D, okay? I don't know if there was something else that I wanted to add other than we are here to really embody our divine blueprints. And everything that was matrix-based, matrix fabricated, that had an agenda ultimately needs to go. Everything that is false within you needs to go as well. And really embody the frequency, the real frequency, the realness, the truth, the grounded spiritual truth that this is who I am. I know what my soul's desires are, and they are my inner compass. I'm no longer reject them. Instead, I'm actually going to sort out the files from my subconscious and see what no longer serves me. And this is truly the process of healing. It's keeping the anchor of, this is who I know I am. This is my truth. Okay, I know I have a soul purpose, whether it is very clear or not, but at least I know it's not in this particular environment or whatever. And keep going. And personally, the first time I was connected to this revelation, this angel singing kind of moment, was 10 years ago. And I had to keep trusting and keep going towards the vision. By the way, I have always been extremely connected to my soul tribe, which is you, to my divine counterpart, that was 10 years ago without even knowing who that was, and to my soul purpose, my creative gifts. I've always known they were there. And so it took me 10 years of healing and 10 years of researching and 10 years of twisting reality from all the angles to really understand how the hell do we get to leave that? How the hell do we get to be free in this, world that feels like it's keeps trying to move against our soul desires and keep pushing artificial desires on us, because we are wounded, because we're all wounded children. And this is how this whole disconnection from source happens, right? It is very easy to tell a wounded child, to push on their wound, right? Just, I don't know, giving some example is, woman and beauty. It is very instead of really helping women to find their true inner beauty and their true radiance, all these monsters, cosmetics, whatever, they're all like saying, hello, the child, you don't feel beautiful? Come and buy this. And by the way, you're never gonna feel beautiful either, but it just keeps you on a loop, because unless you heal from within, but that's just too difficult. So why don't you just buy everything and we're gonna talk about healing maybe in another lifetime. I was very harsh, but this is really the truth. And it cannot happen until, true healing cannot happen unless we stop looking at ourselves from the eyes of the outer world, of how our parents saw us, of how society saw us, of how our first girlfriend and boyfriend saw us, but coming back to how true God source energy sees us. Because that's how your divine counterpart sees you. That's how your soul tribe sees you as well. That's how your soul family sees you. Okay, not the matrix agents. Okay. I'm going to end with this because this is something very important. There was a time, this is the last one. There was a time where I completely resisted. There was so much resistance in me wanting to do healing, because of how much wounded I felt by humans. I just totally, I was completely wounded by humans, which, the wound of belonging was the biggest one that a lot of us experience. And so my subconscious thought, even though on the surface level, I was telling myself, yeah, I'm ready. I want to heal people. Obviously, my soul tribe. Yeah, it should be fun. On a subconscious level, I was, my soul tribe, even though obviously on a soul level we connect, they are still humans. So inside of me, there was this inner conflict saying, I hate humans. I'm not willing to forgive my past. So I'm holding on to these grudges. But at the same time, I want to help humans. And through the healing of the past and through the understanding that the people that I'm here to serve are not the assholes that, totally destroyed my self-confidence in the past, through this healing, you also start seeing your soul tribe and your, the people you're meant to have in your life through accurate lenses. Because if you don't heal your past wounds, your divine counterpart can be staring in front of you, and you're still gonna see your boyfriend that left you for another. I'm not good with examples, but you're still gonna see that MF person who broke your heart, because that's how it works. We literally see our reality is truly a projection of our internal reality. And so actually the people that are meant to be in our lives, because we're so connected on a soul level, they are the ones who are really going to bring those wounds up. Personally, I started to truly deeply heal my wounds of belonging when I encountered my soul family. And your soul family will trigger you like no one else, because they want the best for you. So you will want to get close to a soul family member, but they may, if you do this from a place of lack, and if you do this from a place of still unhealed version of you, you will feel rejected by them. But you're going to want their love so much, but you're going to feel rejected by them. This is because you need to heal. Okay, they don't do this on purpose. You need to heal. What else? I really felt like I needed to give this example of soul versus ego, soul versus personality, 5D versus 3D. This is the ascension process on an individual level. Okay, and then this is the basis of what we're here to do. And then on a much bigger level. We're here to serve, we're here to raise the collective, but without the healing work, which is the basics, we are not going to step into our most self-actualized version. And we're still going to see us from distorted lenses, from the lenses of our past, of whoever other people wanted for us. But I'm going to say something that, I'm just going to invite you to let it sink in. Your higher self is someone you haven't met yet. Or the version of you, that you're meant to really step into in this lifetime is very likely someone you haven't met yet. Because it is very different from what we were conditioned to believe we should be, or the person that we projected we wanted to be from all these artificial desires of fixing ourselves in a way that will attract or that will be accepted or welcomed in the world. So all that stuff needs to go, and you need to, the only place where you need to seek for that validation, and I don't want to use this word, but the only place where you need to look for mirroring is source, is truly your higher self, and see, am I on the right path? That's how you know if you're in alignment or not, and what needs to shift. The more we resist this journey, the more we stay in that 3D bandwidth of victimhood and just unwilling, and keep having this attachment, and keep lingering, and keep holding on to the karmic, and keep holding on to addictions and things like that. We are just enabling. We are just on a hamster wheel. We're just never going to actually step into our most authentic selves. And I'm saying this with uttermost compassion, because this is not an easy journey. It's not an easy journey, but it is so worthwhile and so fulfilling. And I guess the message of today is keep going. Keep going, and always come back to your truth. Always come back to the truth in your beautiful soul, because you know that this is what you're meant to experience in this lifetime. So keep holding that trust, keep holding that vision, and don't settle, because settling, it's resistance, and it's just a waste of time. It really is. So it's time to give up on the comfort self. It's time to give up on anything that is keeping you away from your destiny and the real you. So with that, I will leave it there and see you in the next one. Take care, and bye for now.